Hey everyone, welcome back to Rawlins Rambles or R Cubed. Do you ever realize a few days later that life was kind of like trying to teach you something, but like you needed to find all the pieces, and then you realize, oh my gosh, that's what it's teaching me, or that's what it's reminding me of? Well, that happened to me. So I was complaining. The first thing is the weather. I was complaining about the humidity. It's so hot. Where did spring go? We had winter and then we had summer. Why did we miss spring? That's so unfair. Well, guess what? It's spring now, which I guess you can't really tell. But if you live around where I live, which I should keep that on the DL because that's top secret information, you're experiencing spring. And it's like mid-teens and I'm thinking, well, where the heck did summer go? I want summer. Which is like, I was just complaining about not having spring. Anyways, second thing is kind of in response to that, my roommate and good friend, we were just having a random talk and he brought up this idea of this quote from The Office. I wish I knew I was living the good old days before they became the good old days. And it's like, oh man, yeah, I wish I could be grateful for the right now, here and now, not trying to attain anything. Third thing, my mom sent me this beautiful devotional, which talks about the world is not perfect. So again, adding on to this idea of, waiting for the best, waiting for perfection is fleeting. There's no relationship, there's no day, there's no weather that's absolutely perfect. You can always find something wrong because our world is fallen. We live in an imperfect world by nature. And I think a lot of us, or all of us, are on this chase from one thing to the next to satisfy that hunger for perfection. And that often looks like attaining a job, attaining status, attaining enough money, attaining stability, attaining a relationship, all this stuff that, I think it will make me happy if I get it. And we talked about this already. Henry Nouwen suggests, no, that doesn't. If you cling to your life, Christ says, if you cling to your life, you'll actually lose it. If you try and cling on to everything, it will just fall apart. And the sad thing is, it's not just your life that you'll lose, but you'll destruct so many lives of people around you. So kind of my conclusion from that is, well, I guess the having part of life, the attaining, is never perfect. We're never going to find perfection in that, are we? We always know there's going to be that feeling of, more. And then to top it off, the fourth thing was the Bible verse of the day, as I'm thinking about this stuff, popped up this morning and said, as almost an answer, seek first his kingdom and all these things shall be added to you. So all these things that we're worried about, attaining worth, attaining status, attaining enough money, stability, all these things will be taken care of if we seek his kingdom first. And what is his kingdom? Well, I believe as a Christian that his kingdom is Christ's kingdom that he came to declare when he lived on this earth. And again, you don't have to believe what I believe, but he had some pretty cool things to say. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first in his kingdom. And love, how do you be a part of this kingdom? You love one another as I have loved you. And how did Christ love us? Sacrificing his entire life, taking on the sin of the world for us, our imperfect selves. That is the way, not the taking, not the attaining, but the actual giving of ourselves. Being part of that kingdom of giving is the way to fulfillment, to life. And that's the end of that thing. If you cling to your life, you'll lose it. But if you give it up for my sake, you'll find it. So cool. This, we've talked about Henry Nouwen's Life of the Beloved before. Our humanity comes to its fullest bloom in giving. We become beautiful people when we give what we can give. A present, a kiss, a hug, a word of encouragement, when we give a part of our life or all of our life. And yeah, I just really think, hey, that's so important, that life of giving, not having, which is so cool because we're going through the Sustainable Development Goals, which are a group of 17 goals that are focused on seeing and giving of ourselves to others, not just ourselves. That's so cool because sustainability is not a focus not just on us, but on others around the world and in the future, which is so cool that the world is focusing on this. So we've been through eradicating poverty, ending hunger, ensuring healthy lives, promoting education for all, removing gender inequalities, and now we're on securing water for everyone in the world. So what are the targets? Because each SDG has targets. Well, universal and equitable access, to safe and affordable drinking water, sanitation and hygiene as well. Ending open defecation, because lots of people still go to the washroom without anything. We want to improve water quality. Even some of the improved sources aren't actually good quality, so you get the water, but it's not safe. We want to look at the natural resources, the sustainability of that, so like wetlands around the world. Look at international collaboration, because lots of waters go through a number of different countries, and how do you sustainably allocate that resource? Support participation of local communities. So inform, get us, because how much do we know? How much do you know about how much water Hamilton, if I'm living in Hamilton, how much water does Hamilton have? When would we run out if we continue to do all these things? Get us involved. Get the general citizen involved. So what's the local situation? What's the situation like right now? Let's see what the situation is. Well, water is a pretty big topic, so a lot of good work has been done. So 90% of the world used an improved drinking source. That doesn't mean a perfect source, but it means improved, not just right out of a stream. 70% used improved sanitation, so that's 70% of us don't go to the washroom in the open field. There's still 30%, so 2 billion people are living in countries facing water stress. That's almost a third of our population, and 890 million people practice open defecation. So pretty close to like 1 in 9 people go to the washroom just in an open field or in a forest. Here's a quote about water use in terms of our water use globally. Water use has been growing at more than twice the rate of population increase, which is growing crazy itself in the last century. And although there is no global water scarcity as such, an increasing number of regions are chronically short of water. Water scarcity is both a natural and a human-made phenomenon. Just speaking to, whoa, that's a lot of water use that we're using. If the population growth is growing that quickly, we're using even that much more. We need to start waking up to the fact that, our lifestyles use way too much water. In terms of natural environments, half of the global wetlands have been destroyed, and a lot of this is due to dams. And if you've never thought that we have an impact on the natural systems, maybe the earth is just too big to impact, watch this 5-second video in the link and you will probably be challenged on thinking that. How about Canada? We have 7% of all renewable fresh water around the world, which is absolutely massive. And we act like it too. We have one of the biggest water footprints, 6,400 liters per capita per day. That's not just in the home, but that's our entire, so what we eat, how we drive, the energy we use, 6,400 liters per capita per day. That's crazy. And we throw it around. We give it away basically for free as well. The private sector, companies like Nestle, they pay $3.71 $3.71 per million liters of fresh water they take out of our ground. $3.71 cannot even buy you a Starbucks drink, and this is getting them 1 million liters at a time. In terms of natural resources, 68% of all wetlands in Ontario have been destroyed, and that's a huge source of filtration, flood mitigation. That's a huge issue. In terms of rights, First Nations reserves, the Government of Canada doesn't have any binding regulations on providing safe and equitable drinking water for people living on reserves. So that means there's tons of drinking water advisories saying that it's dangerous to consume. 38 short-term right now today, and 76 long-term across the country. Some of those long-term have been going on for about 20 years. So that means people have grown up every single day of their life not being able to drink out of their tap, and now they're having kids who can't as well. Just crazy that we both call Canada home, and I would never think about that. Now, we have stepped up our game, and we want to end all drinking water advisories by 2021. And so there's lots of work being done, but still lots of work to go. So how then shall we live? Well, I think the first thing is being grateful. I feel like every goal I say this, but be grateful. Be cognizant of the fact that you don't have to think about whether or not this is safe or whether or not the water will come out when you turn the tap. That's a crazy blessing to have that billions of people around the world do not know, would dream about having that. Don't just be grateful though. Act on that gratitude by getting informed about, oh man, if I don't think about how much having enough, maybe I have too much. Maybe I consume too much. So you can go to watercalculator.org easily. Within 10 minutes, you see an estimate of your water footprint from everything that you consume, you drive, you use just out of your tap. It's fantastic. And I highlight, check out the diet option, because a huge part of your water footprint is what you eat, which is my plug for maybe stop eating beef so much. Because there is a stat that if a couple, so if two people, I guess that's what a couple is, were to eat chicken instead of beef, so not even changing fully away from meat, but just changing what meat you have, they would save 450,000 liters per year. 450,000 liters of water per year. That's crazy. Don't eat beef. Thirdly, advocate for the right to clean and equitable and safe drinking water for the First Nations people, for all Canadians. One of the big things of sustainability is that it's not sustainable for me. It's not sustainable for just you. It's sustainable for all. This is giving of ourselves, sacrificing our own seeming sustainability for global sustainability. And then advocate, which goes hand in hand with this, advocate for the protection of our natural environments in Canada. 68% of our wetlands destroyed in Ontario. That's insane. That's huge flood mitigation measures, huge climate change mitigation measures, huge biodiversity loss in that. Anyways, lots of stuff. I think the key is starting with that mindset of, hey, maybe this life is not about that chase to the top, or that race to the top, not about attaining for myself. Have a great day. Can't wait to hear about your water footprints and how you're reducing them. That's the biggest one. Hey, have a great day.